The YouTube 2018 Rewind debuted and quickly became the most disliked video ever to appear on the website. The reaction was so negative that even the YouTube personalities who agreed to be in it were forced to try and distance themselves from it. While I could make the same points that a million other channels have made about it in terms of why it managed to accumulate over 14 million dislikes, I think what we're seeing here is a very interesting cultural shift, an incredible disconnect between the worlds of new media and the corporate vanguards of the old world. A world where the new is trying to sell itself in terms of branding and marketability as being equivalent to the legacy media and failing miserably to the point where the denizens of the new media have joined together in complete and utter revolt, creating one of the greatest PR embarrassments of all time. A great criticism of the Rewind as a whole came in the opening few seconds, which focused on Will Smith, who many people complained shouldn't have been there in the first place, considering that he isn't even a YouTuber. But to my great surprise, after doing a little digging, I came to the horrible realization that apparently Will Smith is a YouTuber for some reason. Like, Jesus Christ, you spent the last 30 years of your life becoming a platinum-selling rap artist. You're like one of the last few remaining legitimate movie stars who doesn't have to be in a Marvel movie to draw people to the theaters. And this is your big plan? To make Drake In My Feelings challenge videos? To slum it alongside YouTube's Storytime animators? And pretend to know what Fortnite is? And who?
And Marquez Brownlee
is as well? Are those $20 million talent fees not enough? Was the supposedly $40 million that Netflix gave you for Bright not enough? Like, people go to YouTube because they realize that they don't have a chance in hell of ever becoming a Will Smith in the conventional system. I think the Chris Stuckmans of the world would happily give up their million subscriber YouTube channels in a heartbeat to get paid millions of dollars to appear in the Orc Cop movie. But somehow that's not good enough? Having enough success where you basically had M. Night Shyamalan write and direct your vanity birthday present movie that you scribbled on a napkin for your kid Jaden isn't good enough? You need more? But you know, maybe several decades of being a multi-millionaire blockbuster movie star just wasn't doing it to scratch that creative itch. Maybe Will Smith is looking for a new challenge in life. Maybe he just wants to forge a deeper connection with his audience. Like, take this video where he dishes on what it's like to be famous.
I love being famous. I love being famous.
Okay, so we know being famous is great and awesome, and Will Smith himself admits it's pretty great. But what could the downside be? What's the dark side of fame? You know, the parts about social isolation, the idea of friends becoming clinging parasites, always looking to drain money from you, the fact that you can't have any sincere connections anymore.
You know, all these superficial things like fame and money and being internet famous, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. None of it makes you happy. You know what makes you happy, Macon? Friends and family and purpose in life. That's what life is about. Life isn't about becoming Instagram famous. If you make your life about that, you're gonna become a shallow husk of a human being.
Let's see the first thing that Will Smith mentions is the biggest drawback to fame.
I get sued probably 15 times a year. I have lawyers on a monthly retainer just because you get sued so much when you're famous.
Okay, that makes sense. Now I see why you need that YouTube money.
You gotta love to be gone back yet. Love turns into nothing, don't you grab it.
The Will Smith YouTube channel represents an interesting paradox. It was created roughly about a year ago, initially to do social promotion for Bright, along with his YouTube video documentary series, The Jump, that chronicled him skydiving on his 50th birthday. But amidst this branded corporate content, there was also a lot of lifestyle vlog videos that seemed to be trying to do something different. They seem like Mr. Smith is trying to recapture something that has been lost amidst his personal climb to becoming worth over $300 million. It feels like he wants to regain a sense of sincerity that he has lost over the years with his core fan base. Which is fascinating because if you compare it to, say, The Rock's YouTube channel, which is all about business all the time, all the videos on The Rock's channel are either promoting movies or TV projects he has in production, or are digital shorts that were created by his own digital production company, 7 Bucks Digital Studios, and Dwayne Johnson doesn't really seem to care about having any need to try and sell himself as being sincere or authentic, like Will Smith is desperately trying to do.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
The channel is filled with a mix of internet pandering shorts and advertisements for TV projects that The Rock is, oh god, Alex Mendez? Golden Boy? What are you doing here? How did you get on The Rock TV show? Don't you remember me from that failed Microsoft streaming pilot? We went to lunch together at Dos Toros Tacos. I was the guy in the Minecraft suit for that sketch that no one will ever get to see. Oh God, please remember me. What am I doing with my life? So existential crisis aside, generally YouTube is a place for schmucks like me who like to write and create stuff but are not lucky, talented, or skilled enough to be given those kind of creative jobs in the big leagues. But hey, that's okay, we got our YouTube alternative. But as long as we have that and we have the search and discovery algorithm that drives more traffic to us, that's fine.
Algorithms! Math!
We can come to terms with the fact that we're never going to be The Rock, or Will Smith, or even Golden Boy Twitch meme Alex Mendez. But now the Will Smiths are coming to our turf, trying to be us. What is going on? What is this topsy-turvy world where the old vanguard of Hollywood is storming our space and trying to get that sweet clickbait ad revenue that we're always fighting for?
And Marquez Brownlee
puts it best, the reason why people really hated the new Rewind is because it was basically this.
It's become more important than ever for that relationship between YouTube and advertisers to remain strong and for them to show the best stuff on the platform to those advertisers. So YouTube Rewind turned into this like, hey, check out all of these advertiser-friendly things for you to spend your money on, all these super clean creators and these late night show hosts and all these things that you want your ads next to. So YouTube Rewind, in a way, just turned into a giant ad for YouTube. That's the truth. So the delta between what YouTubers and creators and audiences want Rewind to be and what YouTube it keeps making is clearly why people are so upset.
The Rewinds have become less tributes towards the creators and the culture of YouTube itself than an extended advertisement to try and sell that all of the hundreds of personalities on YouTube are as safe, fun as real-life media personalities like John Oliver, Trevor Noah, and of course Will Smith, which seems like a fuck you to the general user base. Take for example the PewDiePie War Against Tea series, which saw no mention of it at all in the Rewind. What better way would have there been to acknowledge the larger cultural extent of YouTube than to feature PewDiePie in a West Side Story dance battle against the Bollywood stars of T-Series? But YouTube and the larger Google conglomerate have largely disowned PewDiePie, turning him into the literal Satan of YouTube. But as David the Android said, quoting Paradise Lost in Alien Covenant,
Serve in heaven or reign in hell.
Now that PewDiePie has largely been completely disowned and disavowed by YouTube at large, but he still remains the king of YouTube whether they like it or not, the reigning champ of subscriptions, and as much as they might hate him for his minor slip-ups and bad publicity, they can't kill him, because if they try and strike him down with a channel termination, he will become more powerful as a martyr than he is even now.
You can't win, Darth. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
But that doesn't mean there hasn't been a concerted effort to dethrone him, to take him down with a more corporate-friendly alternative, which is why the T-Series vs. PewDiePie fight has become the defining battle for the age and the heart and soul of YouTube. Ultimately, who should this internet video site be for? Should it be for the weird guy from Sweden who sits in his chair doing meme reviews and awkward internet comedy, along with the occasional plea of sincerity? Or should it be a slick conglomerate posting an endless stream of highly produced music videos? And the user base has largely spoken. Many different large channels have joined in support of PewDiePie, even if they don't particularly like him very much, because they hate the idea of a safe corporate homogeny as much as everyone else. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that has largely been drawing more and more people towards supporting PewDiePie, despite the fact that just a couple of years ago, he was the 2013-2014 equivalent to where Logan Paul stands today on the cultural internet lexicon. But the mixing of celebrities with brand-friendly internet personalities is indicative of a larger cultural shift where for years people have been speculating that we'd see the old regime of Hollywood super conglomerate die out as the money and attention of legacy media companies see their audience and profits shift away towards supporting new media. While that is true, we have an entire generation who see YouTube and Twitch as their primary sources of entertainment. What we're also seeing is that new media is starting to look a lot more like legacy media. The jig is up, Hollywood! The time of your tyranny is over, for we, the neoliberal tech giants of the people, have come to put an end towards your cruel and unjust reign over the world of entertainment. It's time to put a stop to your patriarchal, racist, sexist ways and bring more inclusive entertainment made by the people, for the people, to the people. We will no longer stand by your outdated practices.
Oh, look at all of you. That's so cute. You open a few stores and offer people the chance to post user-generated content so you can steal their data, and now you think you can walk with the big dogs.
But
sit down.
We're the future. You have to listen to—
I said sit the fuck down. I've been at this for over 100 years. How long have you been around? Like what, 20? So here's what's gonna happen. I'm going to explain some fundamental truths of the universe to you, and you're gonna listen. There's a colloquial phrase we like to use in the business. Sadly, I can't use it anymore, unless I offend my colleagues of the LGBTQ persuasion, and I still do quite enjoy going to Ryan Murphy's holiday parties. Eat my sausage.
What?
Sit down, shut the fuck up, and eat my big fat sausage. Then after you're done chewing it around a bit, you're gonna thank me for having given you the privilege of eating my sausage. You see, for over 100 years, I've been doing this, and I've become very good at cultivating it. What is it? How do you get it? Well, you either have it, or you don't, and none of you've got it. It is when you're interesting, even when you're doing nothing. It is a natural magnetism that draws people into your orbit. Audrey Hepburn had it. Humphrey Bogart had it. Tom Cruise has it. But you know who doesn't? Mark Zuckerberg. Mr. Zuckerberg has spent his entire life looking to show the world that he has it. He built Facebook to prove that he's cool. But no matter what, how many billions of dollars he has in his pocket, no matter how much sex he has with his Asian doctor wife, no matter how big his Hawaiian mansion is, he'll never have it. And his entire life will be spent in vain chasing it, trying to be cool. But no matter what he does, he'll never be cool. And I know what cool is. I've defined cool for decades, and all it took for me to make sure that no one would ever think he was cool was $40 million and a few months of David Fincher and Jesse Eisenberg's time. Now all he can do is flop around awkwardly as he's grilled by the Supreme Court, as everyone hates his pasty, stupid little rat face. But let's face it, if people knew Oprah or Robert Downey Jr. were reading all their emails and looking at their private data, they'd be flattered and thank them for the privilege of invading their privacy, because they have it. The rest of you will always be chasing after it, trying to imitate what I do naturally, whether it's through your hoverboards or your e-scooters, but can never commit to one idea. As soon as you get bored of something, you run off to the next gizmo or gadget like a bunch of ADHD kids hopped up on coke at a daycare. It's no wonder half of your stupid startup buildings look like kindergarten crap with stupid slides and nap pods. You're a bunch of babies wandering around, flinging crap on the wall and crying when someone tells you that you gotta clean up your mess. But while you're doing that, who's actually creating all the culture that you little parasites use to get through your miserable little days crunching code? We do.
But through our technologies, we have taken control away from you and given it to the people. With our disruptive publishing practices, we are allowing independent creators to make their own living, allowing a new diverse set of creators to follow their passions.
How's that going for you, Amazon? Oh yeah, that Kindle publishing thing. A digital storefront that was filled with so much incest Bigfoot fantasy books that even you had to start taking that shit down. Oh, and how about that cute little Amazon Studios thing, where you invited anyone to come submit a TV series or a movie script to be produced by Amazon? How many blockbuster hits did you make from all that user-generated content? Only one I know of, and that's that stupid kid series, Gordon McGibbon's Life on Normal Street, right? Oh man, you really were breaking boundaries with that one. Really throwing a wrench in the system. And oh, what happened? You shut it down completely, no longer taking unsolicited scripts like everybody else. You're not better than us, relying on the same name brand Hollywood-approved talent and properties like everybody else. How much did you spend on that Jack Ryan TV series that no one gave jack shit about? God, we've been through Jack Ryan like what, 3, 4, 5 times, and you suckers were slobbering all over the opportunity to take our sloppy seconds. And that's not even including the Lord of the Rings TV series that you're pumping $1 billion into, despite the fact that we already beat that dead horse 3 times over with our Hobbit trilogy. But you morons are too stupid to make your own Game of Thrones, so you basically are paying 4 times as much money as we did to feed the people the same shit we already made nearly 20 years ago. You ain't disrupting shit. You just doing the same backstabbing, sausage-sucking nepotism crap that we've been doing for ages, only shittier. Oh yeah, I know all about that Roy Price fellow who used to run your studios and almost made you buy and produce his girlfriend's shitty TV show. Or that head of comedy guy Joe Lewis who pressured the Tick Show to cast his girlfriend, Yara Martinez. Great job in bringing diversity towards the world of entertainment. Only diversity you're good at is the diversity of poor single mom flex drivers who deliver my packages. Face it, you're nothing but a $1 trillion piss bottle factory.
But the power of user-generated content will ultimately overthrow the old vanguard.
Oh, that's so cute. After the verbal whiplashing I just gave Amazon, I thought you'd know better than to try and fight me on those grounds. But I got a few special things to say to you. I don't care how empowering you claim to be, how much you say you want to help people pursue their passions. But 90% of the stuff on your platform is just people reacting or reviewing to the same shit that's put out by us. You are nothing but a bunch of parasites feasting on the dead carcass of giants. You think that anyone can be a star. That somehow Boogie 2988 will be able to compete with Channing Tatum. That if you throw enough money at MatPat or Pewdiepie and give them a shitty reality show, that you'll somehow bring them onto our level. Ain't never gonna happen. Even you know, on some primal level, you know it's never gonna happen. You already name-changed your service from YouTube Red to YouTube Premium. You're moving away from throwing money at YouTubers to make their own TV series, and you're now spending that money on third-string properties. What does that say when your biggest hit is a spin-off of The Karate Kid? You think we're hacks for constantly throwing reboots and remakes. What does it say about you when the only success you can find is when you're making stuff based on our scraps and leftovers? And whenever someone does find success making stuff, but it's not brand friendly like that Mumkeep Jones fella, you just give him the axe and terminate his channel so you can continue the unending slosh of brand-safe community vloggers and Let's Play personalities. But the funniest thing about all of that is you ain't done nothing about all the real monkey torture videos littered all over your website. None of those videos have gotten taken down. Good thing too. About the only thing worth watching. Nothing takes the edge off after snorting coke off a dead hooker's back than watching one of those safe-for-all advertisers' YouTube-approved monkey torture videos.
You'll never get away with this. Just look at what Netflix has managed to accomplish.
I ain't even gonna bother roasting you, because I already know you ain't got nothing except for a whole lot of wasted money. Can't wait to see your reboot of Amazing Stories. But the thing is, Netflix has been very good to us. $20 million of debt good, as they've handed over blank check after blank check for us. They've been a great little piggy bank. But by this time next year, we'll have Disney Plus and a majority stake of control in Hulu, so we won't be needing them anymore. That's the thing. Times may change and the players may change, and the distribution method might change, but we never do. All we need to do is just figure out how to convince you rich smucks to give us your money so you can pretend to be cool. I mean, your most beloved Netflix show is what? Stranger Things? A series that's basically sucking the salami out of just about every movie that we made in the 80s.
But the new progressive journalisms of the modern digital age will put a stop to you. The Huffington Posts, the BuzzFeeds, the Mikes, the Upworthy, Polygons, and Jezebels will all expose you.
Oh, Facebook. I thought I was done with you after I put your Marky Mark Zuckerboy into the dirt. Oh, do you really think that the whole get woke or go broke journalist empire is really going to make a difference? I mean, you kill half of them whenever you change your newsfeed algorithm. Not to mention, the only way they get their stories seen is if they pay for your stupid ads. You claim to be the platform where everyone is equal and diverse, but you're no better than us. The only real color you see is green. Whether it's selling data to Cambridge Analytica or those over 150 companies. Already Mike.com is completely dead and had their entire staff laid off. Noticing a trend? Even BuzzFeed is now selling cookware in Walmart.
Okay. Walmart's mad.
Oh yeah, that's where those avocado toast-loving millennials love getting their culinary tools. Fucking Walmart, right? And you know what I love most about your articles, BuzzFeed? They're all about my movie stars and celebrities. And here's what's the best that BuzzFeed has to offer. Young Jason Momoa, and I can't stress this enough, could spit in my mouth. I gotta take you people at BuzzFeed seriously. You are gonna change the world with this bullshit. Grade A fucking journalism. So shut the fuck up. Stop pretending your outrage porn journalism's gonna do anything. And get back in line. Cause I'm gonna give you Avatar 2 through 5. And you're gonna thank me for the privilege. So face it, you're never, ever gonna beat the system. Because as long as I know what it is, and how to cultivate it, to groom it, and elevate it, and ultimately consume it, I'll always be the biggest player in town. And the rest of you will be nothing more than my piggy bank. We've been doing this for over a century. And we'll be doing it for another 2 or 3.
So as much as things change, they have a startling habit of staying the same. As disruptive as all these new technologies have been in terms of creating a whole new platform of new media, the blunt reality is that the people in control of everything are still the same. We still have the same Hollywood industrial complex of celebrities, actors, and musicians who remain at the top tier of the talent pool, with the same studios being the only ones who are able to finance full-scale TV and movie productions. In theory, anyone with a cell phone camera and some editing software could create their own feature film or TV series and release it on YouTube. From a technological standpoint, that's completely possible, but accomplishing that from a financial standpoint is a different thing entirely. But that's where, in this digital landscape, we haven't seen anything come along that can bridge this gap. Because there's a vast sea of difference in terms of what it takes to finance a legit production compared to a ragtag YouTuber with a video blog making stuff from their bedroom. So let's get into some YouTube economics. Generally, Google AdSense YouTube ads pay between 69 cents to $7 CPM, which stands for cost per mil, which basically is the cost per 1,000 impressions or views on a video. How much a video makes can vary depending on the topic of the video, which will determine what kind of ads get placed over it. For example, I've noticed a trend where my videos focusing on anime and manga tend to make far less than the videos I've done on more mainstream topics like movies or superheroes. But for our hypothetical scenario, let's assume the best case scenario. Let's assume I make a video that gets 1 million views, that's cute and funny, that I make all on my own, and I get the max CPM of $7. That nets me around $7 grand. Not bad for a low-effort piece of content, but I want to make a real video for the next one. I want to make an ambitious sketch, and I'm going to use my big boy money to pay big boy rates. Here's a very good chart I came across for a service that was advertising their digital payment software that illustrates how much real film production can cost. As you can see, these are the usual day rates for a director of photography, a grip, a sound mixer, and an actor. So you got $650 for the SAG talent, a DP for $920, a union grip which is about $375, sound mixer which is running you at $610, and this boom guy who's another $411. Add that up and that's nearly $3,000. And that's just for these 5 guys. That's not including equipment rentals, vehicles, production insurance, location rental, craft services, and all the fun stuff that goes into big boy productions. When you add up all those variables, it's very easy to go above the $7,000 you might make on your million hit YouTube video in the best case scenario. So essentially on your second video, you'll be in the red. So you can see where the gap starts to form between the professional production expenses and the reality of the YouTube economy. Of course, Google AdSense is just one potential income stream, and any savvy YouTuber will have multiple forms of income. And while that money might be enough to support one person handsomely, or maybe even a small team, it's not on the scale to support a medium-tier production on a continuous basis. On average, a single episode of network TV series can cost anywhere between $3 to $4 million. So let's say Pewdiepie wants to really disrupt the system. He wants to use his Google AdSense money to fund his own cop drama, so let's look at his social blade. It's an estimate on how much he's worth based on his web traffic, but it's not 100% accurate, but it is a good estimate. So he's estimated to be making $21 million a year, which is great for him, but he's going to need to produce 22 episodes for a full season at around $4 million per an episode. So to fund a full season of his real TV series, he's going to need $88 million, which despite how rich he is, he probably doesn't have. And now you see we have the other shoe drop. This is the grim reality of new media. The finances just aren't what they need to be to support the level of production value that we've come to expect on regular network television or in film. And this is the hard lesson I've seen play out again and again. Back in 2012, YouTube started their original channel initiative where they invested $100 million giving money to media companies, celebrities, and prominent YouTubers in an attempt to try and provide the platform with more high-quality content. Despite having such big names as Madonna, Pharrell Williams, Rainn Wilson, Amy Poehler attached to these channels, most failed to build an audience. By September 2012, only 20 of the initial 100 channels were getting 1 million views a week. Those numbers stagnated, and despite in October YouTube introducing 60 more new original channels funded by an additional $200 million of Google investment money, by November 2012, YouTube ended funding for over 60% of those 160 channels, and they were left to fend for themselves on whatever they could scrap by from their Google AdSense. By 2013, the program was canceled, and all references that it even existed in the first place were completely scrubbed away. There's one particular example from this era of YouTube that I want to focus on. One of the channels that was in this initiative was Fred Siebert's Cartoon Hangover. Fred Siebert is a bit of a media titan. He was famously behind MTV's early branding when it launched in the 80s. He was the last president of Hanna-Barbera. He was instrumental in bringing cartoons like The Fairly OddParents and Adventure Time to television. He also controls the larger MCM network of Channel Frederator. He is a man who has had his finger in just about every single pie you can imagine, someone who has been very successful and very influential. Now, the lack of funding didn't kill Cartoon Hangover. It still exists today, producing pilots and short series, and generally serving as an incubator platform for new cartoon IPs. But what I find most interesting is the story of Bee and Puppycat and Bravest Warriors. That Google seed money was used to get those 2 series off the ground, but once it ran out, they were left to be on their own and fend with whatever Google AdSense money they could get, and ran into a stark reality. The dream of Cartoon Hangover was to produce TV-quality animation consistently for the web, but that was impossible to do with AdSense money alone. So what they did was launch a Kickstarter for Bee and Puppycat, which was successful, but also controversial. If there was anyone who should not have needed to beg the internet for money, it's Mr. Big Dick Fred Siebert. But this exposed a weakness in the advertising-based economy, that if you're going to get professional quality talent and produce professional quality work, then you're going to need a lot more money than what could be procured using just traditional means of web advertising, and even the Bee and Puppycat t-shirts and plushies were not enough to make it financially viable. I think the most telling thing about the entire endeavor was how both Bravest Warriors and Bee and Puppycat were eventually moved over to the Verve streaming platform, where they could get real corporate money because they are both unsustainable projects without it. And that's where the dream dies, or at the very least the ambition of creating TV-quality web content hits the brick wall of reality. There really isn't a sort of middle ground between getting a few grand from Google AdSense and the millions of dollars that's poured into professional content. Not to say that there aren't skilled animators and people like Freddie Wong who utilize their technical knowledge to produce amazing stuff, but they're largely doing it on their own with their own skill set, and that is a prohibitively high skill gap for everyday schmoes like me. And until there's a financial stopgap measure, we won't be seeing anything more technically ambitious. The technology is there for someone to make their own Law & Order cop show or a full-length sitcom and release it on YouTube, but the financial gap means that there will always be creative compromises that have to be made. I mean, look no further than something like Ruby from Rooster Teeth, which is impressive for an independent IP, but if you compare it to something like DreamWorks' Troll Hunters, there's just no fair comparison. One looks like a budgetware PS2 game, and the other is on par with the animation you'd see in a theatrical movie. But despite YouTube and Google's history of failure in regards to pouring money into producing more professional content, they haven't given up. The original channel initiative might be dead, but YouTube Red and now YouTube Premium goes on. But there has been a noticeable shift. They've moved away from producing relatively low-budget content with prominent creators to using bigger-name traditional brands. Cobra Kai was the first example, but 2019 will see the release of Becoming a God in Central Florida, starring Kristen Dunst, and the Weird City anthology series from Jordan Peele, moving towards producing big mainstream entertainment from established creators. And thus we get the central message of the YouTube Rewind, the idea that all these creators and traditional media celebrities are the same. They all exist in the same ad-friendly, brand-safe, left-leaning ecosystem that shares the same values that brands can feel safe sinking their money into. Which is, of course, not the reality of YouTube, which is why the larger YouTube community rebelled by making the 2018 Rewind into the most disliked video of all time, and to add even more salt to the wound, they flocked to PewDiePie's Rewind that was edited by other YouTubers and showered it with praise that corporate YouTube so desperately wanted. The central issue, though, why none of this YouTube Red or YouTube Premium content never seems to stick in the cultural consciousness is very much due to the site's design. No one's YouTube page looks the same, it's all based on the content we consume, and thanks to that almighty algorithm, it's very good at feeding us new stuff related to the stuff we're already watched. And as much as I might bitch and whine about appeasing the algorithm gods, from a viewer standpoint, I must say it does a good job of presenting me with either new creators or stuff that's interesting to me, and as a cultural observer, I do enjoy snooping around and looking for new trends. And the algorithm does a good job of continually feeding me the stuff I'm interested in. But the problem is that this turns YouTube into an ununified platform. By catering to every user's whims, it basically turns us into a herd of wandering cats who all get our own little cat playgrounds and echo chambers. You can watch Comedy Central at the same time as someone else, and you'll see the same programming schedule with the same commercials, but two people watching YouTube are not going to have the same experience. The videos that appear in their recommended tab, and even the ads, will be customized to suit each person, which is great for smaller niche creators to build an audience, but it's absolutely terrible from a programming standpoint in terms of getting a big amount of eyeballs on your big original content initiatives. Your entire site was built like a giant playground to herd cats. Now you want all those cats to come to one place when you spent years telling them that they should go enjoy anime video essays or drama vlogs or reaction channels? You know what the cats are gonna say? Screw you! We're here for all our cat shit, so take your scare PewDiePie and shove it. Which is one of the main reasons why YouTube has completely failed in terms of producing original content that has managed to gain traction with a wider audience to the same degree as Netflix or Hulu. That, coupled with an economy that does not support more ambitious projects, is what keeps YouTubers in a creative ghetto, constantly making reaction videos, 10-hour meme compilations, let's plays, live streams, drama videos, lifestyle vlogs, and of course, long-winded video essays by guys like me who are like parasites feasting on other people's art, which we'll never be able to create ourselves because we don't have the skills, tools, or resources to afford to make anything truly original. That's why when people watch something like the YouTube Rewind, most YouTubers are wondering, who the fuck are these people? It alienates the user base who spends so much time in their own little cat playgrounds that chances are they've never heard of your choice of brand-safe creators, and now to see all these safe faces paraded around makes most people feel like this.
I tell you, every year I recognize fewer and fewer names.
Lombard Montague, Grace McLady, Andy Colorado, the Mondo Twins, Purple Stuff, Tank Top Gay Face, Chad Zachary, Zach Chadwick, Chad Chadinson, C. Zachary Chad.
But most of the preferred people who are picked are corporately clean because they need to be safe and ad-friendly creators. That's why the PewDiePie created Rewind was embraced by the larger community. It didn't shy away from the less ad-friendly side of YouTube, the side of internet culture that can't be sanitized and repackaged for a Super Bowl ad. But still, that leaves us in a strange paradox. During the time I was writing this video, Jack Black started a YouTube channel, and Kevin Spacey decided to release a video in character as Frank Underwood, speaking to the audience directly in an attempt to try and win public support for his upcoming court cases due to the numerous charges of sexual misconduct. So where does the line between some schmuck like me sitting alone creating videos because I can't get a job doing it at a real media company, compared to Jack Black, who already has a career making millions in big studio films, but is now going to make gaming videos so he can be free of the creative shackles of the traditional Hollywood system? For me, it almost feels offensive. I make videos because this is the only platform that through search and discovery allows me the chance to be seen. I'd much rather be writing a movie or TV show scripts, but despite my many wasted years in internships and doing menial PA jobs, I've never been granted that opportunity. Why should I have to compete with Will Smith, who's decided to slum it on digital media to pay off his lawyers? But then it hits me, why all these stars are appearing on YouTube. What they are looking to capture is one of the most powerful commodities that most YouTubers share that Hollywood does not. And that is sincerity. Even if you don't have it and have no charisma or good screen presence, if you have that enthusiasm, that passion, and most importantly, that no bullshit sincerity, you can connect with a larger fan base, and almost anyone can build an audience on YouTube, despite the fact that they would never make it to the second round of casting for any Hollywood project or TV commercial. It's how people like Boogie2988 can build a following, despite the fact that no casting director would ever touch him with a 10-foot pole. The spirit of YouTube will never be Will Smith or even Jack Black making gaming videos. It'll be guys like this awkward guy admitting that he likes an embarrassing, stupid light novel in a review video.
Hello everybody, and welcome to my review of volume number 1 of Hirokuma's light novel series, Reborn as a Vending Machine, I Now Wander the Dungeon. This is one of those light novels that you kind of look at and you see the faces that your friends and family make as they take a look at it, and you think to yourself, I need to hate this book. This book represents everything that I should hate when it comes to light novels, because there's so many really good light novels with great stories and great characters, and this just makes light novels look really stupid. But the sad part is that I didn't hate this book.
And even big-name celebrities, no matter how many vlog videos they make, no matter how many viral challenge videos they make, as long as they're lacking that central bit of sincerity, the idea of exposing themselves beyond what is acceptable for their PR-approved personas, then it'll always just feel fake. And sure, maybe Will Smith will make enough AdSense money to keep his 15 attorneys well paid, but he'll always be chasing something that comes far more naturally to traditional YouTubers, because there's nothing more insincere than trying to manufacture sincerity. That's the draw of big celebrity-driven podcasts like the Joe Rogan Experience, the idea that they can strip their guests down and actually have an honest discussion. That is the secret weapon YouTubers have over a traditional celebrity. Some Hollywood personalities pursue YouTube as an alternative because they can't get financing for the projects they want. Another famous personality who left the Hollywood behind in an attempt to try and disrupt the system was Oscar-nominated director Neil Blomkamp, who founded his own YouTube channel, Oat Studios, to produce original special effects-driven short films. Films like Raka, Zygote, and Firebase. He even called in a few favors to have actors like Sigourney Weaver and Dakota Fanning appear in his YouTube shorts. The idea behind these were to see if he could get enough interest to get big film financing to produce these projects and turn them into feature films. The shorts were also monetized by selling the digital assets via Steam in hopes of recouping their production costs. As noble as an experiment as Oat Studios has been, so far there have been less and less stuff to come out of the studio, and it feels like this creative experiment might have reached its dead end. But it's another example of a Hollywood player using the democratized platform of YouTube in hopes of escaping the restrictions of the studio system, especially after the diminishing returns from his mainstream film career. Who knows what the future will hold for digital media, but all I can say is that if YouTube wants to encourage a new generation of creators to produce original content outside of the purview of reviews, reactions, and video essays, then they'll need to figure out a middle ground between the AdSense and Patreon begging and the multi-million-dollar corporate money that's needed to make bigger, more ambitious projects. Until something can come to offer some kind of financial bridge, we'll see the same status quo we have now, which I'm personally okay with, since I'm just happy to have a place I can make stuff, and have people see it, even if I'm guaranteed not to make the big getting jiggy with it cash that Will Smith sees. In this day and age where YouTube has begun a new era of media consolidation, where now smaller channels have to compete against the Jack Blacks and Will Smiths of the world, it's important for us smaller YouTubers to support and help each other out, which is why I'm pleased to thank Space Taste for sponsoring this video. Space Taste is an exciting new sci-fi focused video essay channel focused on exploring the ethical quandaries found in your favorite science fiction movies. The channel's coming right out of the gate with great editing, voiceover, and motion graphics, and is more than worth your time to check out. And if you really like what you see, give him a subscription, because let's be honest, does Jack Black really deserve your YouTube money? No, he does not. So head over to Space Taste and support independent creators looking to make a name for themselves, link in the description below. And a special thank you to Tim for doing the voice of Hollywood. Help Tim go pro MLG at his Twitch channel, link in the description below. Go give him a sub, go thank Hollywood for his hard work, and help Hollywood go pro MLG. So thanks for sticking around and hearing my thoughts, and remember, lobsters are tennis, but don't you grab it.